Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Friday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope you get a chance to do a little bit of celebrating. We're kind of snowed in here at the moment, not expecting to move too far from the house on Friday. It is also coming into a long weekend, and the markets are going to be closed on both sides of the border on Monday. A long weekend usually has a bullish bias to it. A bullish bias doesn't guarantee success. It often will take some of the downward pressure off any bad news that takes place. Now, on Friday mornings, I like to print off some weekly charts just to see if what happened this week is enough to move long-term money in or out of the market. And so far, it's been a positive week for the most of the market. We've got the Dow up on the week, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100 is leading the market higher this week. We've got the Russell 2000 up slightly on the week, while the TSX is up 1% so far. We've got crude oil positive on the week, and we've got gold hitting new all-time highs. We've got the US dollar index pulling back slightly. We'd like it to pull back a lot more. We've got the Canadian dollar up slightly on the week. We've got the euro up slightly on the week. That's helpful for higher stock prices. What's not helpful at the moment is bonds are down on the week and bond yields are up on the week. We don't want that to continue for any length of time. We'd like bonds to continue to move higher and bond yields to move lower. That is supportive for higher stock prices. Now, what's happening today, we do have some economic numbers coming out at 8:30 this morning that could certainly change the direction of the market. The VIX is still on a sell signal. That's supportive for higher stock prices. That would change on Friday if we closed above 1720. There is the US dollar index on a sell signal right now. That's supportive for higher stock prices. There's the euro on a buy signal, the Canadian dollar moving up on Thursday. Now, bonds had a complete reversal on Thursday after the big overreaction to the PPI numbers on Wednesday. We're still on a sell signal here. Bond yields are still on a buy signal, even though they came down nicely yesterday. Now, if we can get bond yields to continue to move lower, that is supportive for all the risk-off areas of the stock market, including the Russell 2000. Most of the companies in the Russell 2000 aren't profitable, or they don't have their own cash. They're all living off borrowed money. And looking at the E-mini for the Russell 2000, if we look at the price targets here, you can see that we've basically been trading between two lines for the past 2 months, and 95% of all trading action has been between those two lines. And so we're looking for a breakout or a breakdown of that range to tell us which way the market wants to go next. Now, looking at Thursday's trading action and looking at the major index ETFs, we had the Dow up on the day. The next price target for the Dow is Dow Diamonds is 453.13 if we can take out the December high. What worked yesterday? Well, Nvidia was the big winner on the Dow. It's moving up. It's at the top of the flypaper channel. The market may want to go after that open gap. Now, Cisco was the next big winner on the Dow on Thursday, and it popped higher. Cisco has a completely different profile than NVIDIA, where investors are still aggressively willing to buy any dip in Cisco. We ran up yesterday and opened at 66.10. And so if you had an order at 65.63 or around there, it got executed at the open at 66.10, which saved you from watching the stock pull back going into the close down at the 63.84 level. So congratulations, anyone long Cisco. Then looking at the SPY, we traded up to the previous high yesterday, and we're just a stone's throw away from taking out the previous high. A resistance, of course, is at 609.38. We closed slightly above that yesterday. If we can take out the previous high and break away from our price target, then 625 would come into play. MGM was the big winner on the S&P 500 yesterday. If you had an order in at any of these levels yesterday, it got executed at the open at 38.55. We got as high as up to the 40.63 level, got as high as 40.75. So I don't think you would have had an order in up at that level, but if you did, congratulations. Then looking at the NASDAQ 100, we were up yesterday. Not enough to make a new all-time high. We're getting pretty close to that. If we can take out the previous high, then 546.88 would be our next target. The equal weighted Nasdaq actually moved up to the next price target and a new high yesterday. So we're just 4 cents away from hitting our price target. So hopefully you did not have an order in right at 134.38. You had an order in a little less than that. Looking at the big winner on the Nasdaq, it was AppLovin. Now, if you were looking at AppLovin yesterday morning, here's what our price targets look like: 406.25, 437.50. Well, we blew through that at the open and opened way up there at 499.34. So those orders would have been executed at the 499.34 level. So congratulations. And of course, having those orders in the system already saved you from riding the stock back down to the 471.67 level. Looking at semiconductors, depending on which ETF you're looking at, you're either still on a sell signal and bouncing off support with the XSD, or the SMH is already on a buy signal right now. Now, when we compare the SOX index, which has an average true range of 2.87, both of the ETFs are very similar. The SMH has an average true range of 3.03%, while the XSD has an average true range of 3.02%. So both very close, even though they have a completely different makeup. Now, every area of the market was up yesterday, and the biggest winner in percentage terms was the materials. And we've got a stock I follow closely, which is Freeport, coming back up to the highs from back in January. So we'll have to see if Freeport can take out those highs. Now, moving on to the Canadian market, starting off with the TSX, the Vanguard Canada ETF was up on the day. We're trying to get back up to the previous high and resistance at 53.13. That's the top of our current projected trading range. The big winner on the TSX yesterday was Euro Copper. It has been in a downtrend for quite a while, but you can see that support has been holding at the 1875 level. 2188 is our next target. Now, the pros haven't taken control yet. If they haven't taken control over the next 3 trading days, then I would certainly not expect this trade to work out. If we can get the pros to come back in and take control, that would probably take us up to that 2188 level, which you can see would be right in the flypaper channel. So that is certainly a realistic move to the upside for this stock. Now, looking at the iShares for the TSX 60, we moved up yesterday, trading above the 3906 level. You can see the previous high from a couple of weeks ago. 39.84 is our next mathematical price target if we can take out that high. Shopify was the big winner yesterday, looking for a move up to 187.50 and then possibly $200. We saw the infotech sector was the big winner on the TSX yesterday. In percentage terms, it was Bitfarms was the biggest winner in percentage terms, and you can see that we're still on a sell signal, no change there. And BlackBerry made a new high for this move on Thursday. The gold stocks were up yesterday. Barrick was up slightly, continuing to move higher. We had Agnico Eagle higher yesterday, and B2 Gold was up by 1 cent on the day, so no major change for B2 Gold on Thursday. Let's finish off looking at the commodity ETFs, and we've got crude oil on its second day of a sell signal, gasoline still on a buy signal, natural gas running back up to retest the high from back in January, and it failed. So far that is a bearish looking candle, but we'll have to see what happens this morning. So far, natural gas is trading slightly higher on Friday morning. There's the price of copper making a new high for this move. Gold was up yesterday, making a new high. We've got palladium back on a buy signal as of Thursday's close, joining platinum already on a buy signal, and the price of silver is still on a buy signal. So a lot of positive there for the mining stocks. Not so much for the energy stocks, but you can see there's a lot of interest in the metals at the moment. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. So far, ahead of those 8:30 economic numbers, we've got stock index futures down slightly, while commodities are up on Friday morning. And enjoy the day, enjoy your Valentine's Day, and enjoy the long weekend. And if you're a subscriber, next time you'll hear my voice is on Sunday.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.